Hey guys, this is Jamie. So today I want to talk about beauty standards and specifically beauty standards among men. I want to talk about celebrities and well, we'll see where this video goes where I get tired. So I really wanted to talk about first and foremost our society and I have like big news that obviously I'm going on the route to different surgeries. I've done most of my surgeries, and obviously the biggest one left is fallow. So this really got me kind of tense because obviously I've gained a lot of weight. I don't know if you keep track of my weight in the videos, but anyway, I've gained weight, and it's been a very hard time for me to acknowledge that I've gained weight and to understand that I need to fight it, I need to go on a diet, I need to lose it due to medical reasons. Let's focus on this medical reasons. So, and also like just to keep my health in check. But I really wanted to, it really made me think about how, when it comes to trans healthcare, I've seen a lot of arguments which are like they don't provide enough healthcare for people who are overweight, for people who have more weight, for people who, are on the larger side of the scale. So it did get me thinking. Like for instance, I remember back in the days when I was fertile. There was even talks like of Plan B not working for a certain weight and everything. And I think it's still applicable. I'm sorry, I'm not that well versed in Plan Bs right now, but obviously there is a massive talk right now about abortion, and usually I talk about it in regards like to Poland or to South America, and obviously right now that it's hitting the U.S., abortion is talked about even more because what do? We care about the U.S. And it's not even that I'm against the US making this conversation a conversation which needs to be had, but it's absurd that it might get overturned. It looks like it's gonna get overturned. And in general, abortion is a legal right or a human right, factually. I have always been pro choice. You know, said pro abortion, but I really, because growing up, I didn't even see abortions being illegal, obviously, unless I was in Latin America, but then I was too young to care or to understand what was going on. And factually, when I looked back and I started looking at laws when I was more of a conscious age, I was actually quite traumatized that I lived in countries, or I know countries that bordering where I lived, and Brazil, obviously, because my partner's Brazilian, that they don't have abortion legal. So it did kind of shook my a bit of an ignorant side of me because, well, please understand that this is like me in my early teens, and this is like I didn't know what trans is, so I was very uneducated on many things. So basically, to me, I still feel very shook to the core when this is even up for debate, and I don't know why it even is. It's like it's not your body. It's not your body to choose. And obviously there's discussions of like there's abortions which need to be had when it's abortions which can be fatal for the person who's giving birth and for the child, well, which might which is gonna end up dead anyway. So what I'm trying to say, well, not the child but the, anyway, if a person wants to get an abortion, they should get an abortion. That's my stance on it. I'm just a bit tired, and my English can be a bit off at times because obviously I do not live in an English-speaking country. So obviously there's the abortion issue at hand, and in general, it kind of with the media sort of blanking out on it. Like, there is talk about it, but in general, I feel like a lot of human rights issues are not discussed. We don't get a lot of coverage. There's a lot of sort of pushback. There's a lot of trans laws. There's a lot of anti-gay laws. There's a lot of turf shit happening in the UK still. And obviously there's a lot of things to talk about when it comes to media and how the media sees us, how we see the media. So right now it's a very toxic relationship, I'd say. So especially when it comes to weight, back to where I started, I really wanted to say that the media specifically right now is focusing, like for instance, we had the Met Gala and we had everyone criticizing Kim K for getting the Marilyn Monroe dress, and she wore it with pleasers. If you don't know what pleasers are, it's pretty much like a stripper heel. They're pretty cool, actually. It's just that it's not something you pair up together. And it's not something someone as problematic as Kim K should wear. I never really liked the Kardashians. I mean, sure, like everyone else, probably I've watched more than a few episodes of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but as a family, I never enjoyed them, at least to my knowledge and to my YouTube knowledge. So she did diet herself quite heavily to fit in the Marilyn Monroe dress, and that caused a stir. So in general, I wanted to say that we haven't had a lot of curvy body positivity, whether it's for men, whether it's for women. And I see fashion as genderless, as you may have noticed. Even though I identify as a binary trans guy, I still enjoy fashion from both sides, since there's only two genders in fashion at this point. So I do enjoy looking like, what are the women wearing, what are the men wearing in the Met Gala. I really enjoyed Evan Mock's outfit for the Met Gala. That was pretty much the only one which excited me, but that's because I enjoy Evan Mock's existence in general. And when it comes to everyone else, I felt like it was also like plain black suits for the guys as always, and I don't understand why people criticize the men when the women just wear a pretty much a really boring gown every fucking time. So to me, it's like two sides of the same boring coin. And I feel like this Met Gala even emphasized on how boring fashion has been when it comes to celebrities. So I read a very interesting article, I think it was by Refinery29, which I do not enjoy normally, but I did enjoy like old series from them, and then I stumbled upon a good Twitter article, an article which was on Twitter, and which was saying that the thing about the celebrities right now is that we don't like them because they're all shows based on nepotism rather than popularity. I mean, would Kendall Jenner still be popular if someone actually cared? I don't think people even care about Kendall Jenner. I mean, she's just being pushed into Vogue and everything just because of money. So everyone's there because of nepotism, let's be real. And it just feels very strange because right now everyone's kind of skinny, same. Well, maybe they have like a boob job, maybe they have a Brazilian butt lift. But in general, people stick to very strict diets to maintain a certain figure. And because of that, we see people who do those strict diets and etc. We see the dudes who work out in an enormous amount. And then we start thinking, well, I don't look like the person on screen, and the person on screen is considered like a sex symbol or something. So obviously, there's something wrong with me. So we start dieting, and it doesn't matter, like, obviously, gender orientation. I'm talking about beauty as a whole. So it is a very interesting discussion. And I really wanted to emphasize that it's obviously celebrities have always been dictating since we got the celebrity craze. So right now, like, seeing that people like Kim are dieting very strictly, and she was sort of like an icon for curves and etc. For like big butts and average size tits. I have no idea. So I really wanted to say that even her dieting is harmful because she's not doing it for the health, she's doing it for the clout, actually. And there's another thing, you can diet for your own sake, but another thing is dieting. I know obviously there's medical dieting, which you need to do at times. But in general, we live in a world where we can go to a store, like a fashionable store, a brand store, or whatever, and we cannot find our size, and that's when we start feeling very uncomfortable. Like, sure, we can say that there has been an increase in certain things, like progress, actually. Like, certain brands have been added in more plus size clothing, smaller sizes, bigger sizes, maternity, and etc. For shorter people, taller people. So we have the inclusivity, but it still goes under a different label rather than a label of clothing, you know? So I still feel like we are being singled out for our weight. Factually, we are being singled out for our weight. And then we start finding different coping mechanisms. So another thing which I want to point out, obviously I'm bald now. And I feel like there's not a lot of representation like in the celebrity sphere for baldness because everyone seems to be getting hair transplants from what I see. Or wigs. And I was like talking to a very dear friend of mine who's a drag queen, and they said that like, well, why don't you get a wig? Which is, you know, an absolutely normal question to ask me. But at the same time, I did have a lot of insecurities where I was like, should I get a wig? Should I get a transplant? And right now I'm quite happy with my baldness. Well, I do get nervous about it around relatives because I feel like, I don't know, because baldness isn't really a good trait and in some people's eyes, and I'm really trying to fight it with myself in mind, and it's really difficult. Despite the fact that I like it, I'm scared that others might perceive it as something negative. And that's my problem. And obviously, like many trans guys and Ben Shapiro, I really struggle with my height as well sometimes. And I've grown to accept my height. But every once in a while, like, if something's going wrong, I'll add my height to the list of my problems at the end of it, and I think it's something very relatable to other trans guys or trans masculine people. Specifically being short, I mean. So I really wanted to talk about that. And I am talking about it. So yeah. It does feel very limiting that we are only seeing a certain part of beauty and not a lot of it. And and again, I'm white, so I'm sorry for the fly. I'm white, so obviously I see things through my perspective. I'm white European, I'm very Eastern European, so I see things through my perspective. So obviously there's things that I don't know, there's things that I should be educated on more. But I'm just talking from what I see and from a trans perspective as well. Because God Lord knows we need some trans people to speak up even more. So, we have shortness, we have boldness, and like another thing which is really interesting is I really enjoy makeup, obviously, as you may have noticed. And the more insecure I get in my looks, the more I draw stuff on myself, the more elaborate and the more artistic my makeup is. I don't know why that happens. I just go overboard and I just keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And it's something that I struggle with because then I'm like, well, you look like a fucking carnival. Like, makeup sometimes obviously is supposed to make us feel prettier. And I'm like, am I that ugly that I need to be a carnival? But in general, I have very sort of strong self-esteem issues, and that is something that I'm very aware of. Obviously, because bullying, because of transphobia, because of abuse in the past, and etc. So, and in general, makeup is a very interesting medium, specifically, I think, when it comes to men in makeup, because it's something which isn't that commonly used in men. And obviously, I know this is controversial still, but I still really get inspired from Marilyn Manson, his idea that I wear makeup to get myself to look better, to look prettier, and etc. And I still really enjoy him, and I find it weird that some people just cancel or click on dislike on my video just because I just literally say one sentence, like when I say Marilyn Manson, but you know, that's how it goes. So I feel like we find different coping mechanisms to escape from the fact that we don't exactly fit into society's mold. And one thing is to have coping mechanisms which are healthy, another thing is when they kind of detach us further away from who we are. And I think we just need to find who we are and make the coping mechanisms into something healthy, into something that we need, want, whatever. And yeah, look less at boring celebrities who literally are there because of nepotism. And unfortunately, in our society, we have a lot of nepotism, we have a lot of capitalism as well. And there's no way we can run away from it right now. And obviously, there's more pressuring issues like war. So obviously, sometimes when I sit down and do these videos, I'm like, well, there's war happening. But at the same time, we need to step back every once in a while and even take care of ourselves while caring about the issues of the world. Because we are the world, as in we are our own microcosmos, and we all live together, and I really hope we find peace in ourselves and the rest of the world. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. If you liked it, please subscribe, and please share, because it makes my channel grow. And I want to get monetized someday, so thank you.